Rookie running back Ashton Jeanty has impressed during the Las Vegas Raiders rookie minicamp, and he will be their bell cow in 2025. I'm going to talk about this and more coming up next.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast, your daily podcast covering your favorite draft prospects, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your boy, Damian Parson. I'm an offensive NFL draft analyst with Bleacher Report. And as always, thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our everydayers. Guys, we're going to talk about some running backs from rookie minicamp. Ashton Jeanty, the bell cow for the Las Vegas Raiders. How did he look during rookie minicamp this past weekend? Omarion Hampton, he looks the part physically. We're going to talk about that, as well as RJ Harvey's role with the Denver Broncos. And guys, when you look at Ashton Jeanty, number 6 overall pick from the 2025 NFL Draft, Ashton Jeanty, from all the clips and videos that had surfaced on social media from the Las Vegas Raiders rookie minicamp over the weekend, the one thing that you got to say is that he looks ready to go. Ashton Jeanty looks prepared to carry the rock today. And not only that, but it's the fact of you see the footwork, the agility, the smoothness, the quickness of his feet. And dare I say, listen, guys, on this show, me and Keith both criticized him to an extent of, man, I just wonder what would happen or what's going to happen, when it pertains to his game, and can he force enough missed tackles at the NFL level and different things of that nature. Me and Keith talked about that, right? We talked about that with some of because this past year, he did more tackle breaking than forcing missed tackles. I always want all our listeners and just football fans, I love to educate. I always want you guys to know how to differentiate between the two, right? It's two different entities when I look at it. So yeah, you might see the analytics that say missed tackles forced, but you need to find a site or a someone who charts whatever, and they have both missed tackle force and broken tackles, because what Ashton Jeanty did in 2024 for Boise State was like really break tackles, contact balance, sturdiness, low center of gravity, power. That's why he's gotten so many different running back comps, like a Maurice Jones-Drew. Some people compare them to LaDainian Tomlinson. That is kind of wild out there. I'm never doing that. I'm not putting them there. But he's definitely, I think, Maurice Jones-Drew, D'Angelo Williams for the Carolina Panthers when he came out of Memphis. Different, there's different shorter statured backs that play similar to him, right? So he's going to be the bell cow. And the question that to me is, like, when you see his stuff in camp, you see the footwork going through the bag drills, being able to quickly change direction, make move with the bags. They're similar to the drills that you see. Some of the drills he was running and some of the stuff they do at the combine as well. And I think for me, guys, it's like the question now is how many touches, how many carries is Ashton Jeanty going to have in this offense as a rookie? You have Geno Smith, right, who's now your paid quarterback. Brock Bowers, the star receiving option of this offense, right? You have Dante Thornton Jr. They drafted 4th round. I just did a breakdown on my YouTube channel called The Scouting Room. Go check that out. I broke that down on YouTube. But his tape and everything, what he could bring to the table, and he was really my guy in terms of the best developmental height, weight, and speed receiver in the 2025 NFL Draft. They drafted Jack Besh. What was that? Second, third round, somewhere in there, or third round. I think it was third round. They drafted Jack Besh. So they added more receivers, right? So you just feel like, okay, they have Trey Tucker, who's another speed, explosive guy. Jacoby Myers, who's a route runner, slot receiver, things like that. So they've improved the weapons on this offense and improved the quarterback of this offense, right? The offensive line we'll see how they pair it together, how they gel it together. But I expect, even with the receiving options they have, I think teams, even with Geno Smith at quarterback, I expect teams to load the box. Let me change them. Let me rephrase. I don't know if they load the box with 9-10 guys or anything like that, but I think he will see a little bit heavier fronts simply because defenses are going to make that passing offense prove them wrong in a sense, right? Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly, they can feel really good about the young receivers they have and the pass catching options they have and a quarterback that they have who's proven to be a reclamation. He's redeemed. He's been redeemed in the NFL. What's his phrase? They wrote me off, but I didn't write back, and he's gotten paid, right? Like he's done the work. He's elevated himself, and he's one of the best pure passers in the NFL, talking about Geno Smith. But the 5'8", 5'9", 215-pound running back, Ashton Jeanty, is the guy that's probably, yes, teams know, defenses know what Brock Bowers was able to do, but it's like when you can run the ball, you can control the game. And I know the analytics will say, throw it, do this, do that. Like the run game shouldn't set up the pass and all that good stuff. But when you are dealing with too high safety looks, too high coverage shells, which we've been seeing implemented, I think, since like 2018, 2019. I think like the yards per attempt before the too high coverage shells became prevalent was like 10, 11 yards per attempt for teams. The Mahomes and Tyreek Hills of the world, they were attacking teams deep, cover one, like they were going over the top of the defense. Now it's, I think since that time, since they implemented more of the too high safety coverage shells, you're seeing I think the analytics wise, numbers wise, remember correctly, I don't have them right in front of me. I believe it dropped from like 10 11 yards per attempt, like covered with single high, to now they're running dual safeties at the top of the defense, and it dropped to like 7.6, like 7.5 yards per attempt. So you're forcing quarterbacks to take the long haul down the field typically, right? Death by 1,000 cuts, right? Tom Brady didn't mind. Tom Brady was like, okay, you want to cut that? Listen, all of these Ginsu cuts, it's a 1-inch cut. It's going to sting, though. It's going to burn. It's going to burn, baby. Here's another one. And here's another one. Like he was out here Oprahing. He was on his Oprah game. Here's another cut. You get a cut. You get a cut. And it was just stuff like that. And what we're seeing, and these young quarterbacks have to learn in today's NFL, you have to take what the defense is going to give you and not put the ball in harm's way, right? Cool. So if teams are willing to do that and sit in too high safety shells, that pass first stuff, yes, you can try and use the West Coast concepts to say, well, what we can do is use the short passing game as an extension of the run. Perfectly fine with that. But if you can run the ball, right, dominate the time of possession. If you're the Raiders, you think about having the lead, 10-point lead somehow over Pat Mahomes entering the fourth quarter. You got the ball with 10 minutes left. You want to initiate your 6 to 8 minute offense, where you drain 6 to 8 minutes off the clock, right? So if it's 10 minutes left, you drain 6 and say you kick a field goal, now it's a 13-point game with 4 minutes left, right? Or let's say you drain 6, but you have to punt or you miss the field goal. Still, yet they're down 10 with 4 minutes left. And I know it's Pat Mahomes, it's Andy Reid, I get all that, but it allows you to put them in compromising positions where they have to play faster than they would typically want to. So yes, Ashton Jeanty to me is going to see over 300 touches. I'm going to say this, I think Ashton Jeanty is going to have over 300 carries this year. I think they're going to get him the ball in the passing game as well. Okay, they're going to throw it to him in the passing game and not just use him as a battering ram. I'm excited to see what he can do in this offense. Again, ideally, I wanted to see Ashton Jeanty in Chicago. I wanted to see him in Chicago with Caleb Williams, with now Luther Burden, and it wouldn't have been Colston Loveland. So, but Luther Burden and Roma Dunze and DJ Moore and the revamped offensive line, and again Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson calling plays. Yes, I would have preferred to see that, but we didn't get it. So we have him in Las Vegas. I think Chip Kelly, who we watched at Ohio State feed both Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins, we know he's always been good at scheming up the run. I expect Ashton Jeanty to be the true bell cow for the Las Vegas Raiders, but also to eclipse 300 carries, not even just touches, 300 carries. Quote me on it, book it, stamp it, put it in your bets. Say DP sent me. But guys, coming up next, we're going to talk about another running back there. He might not be in the bell cow conversation because Najee Harris is there, but he surely looks the part. We're going to talk about Omarion Hampton with the Los Angeles Chargers coming up next. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live. With player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. And one guy that you might want to check the trends on and build a bet around, to me, is Miles Turner with the Indiana Pacers. The big center who's been protecting the rim, rebounding the ball, but also hitting and knocking down the long ball three-point shot for the Pacers. Get ready for the Eastern Conference Final. New to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If that bet wins, you'll get $200 back in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. With the 22nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers selected running back out of North Carolina, Omarion Hampton. And one thing I would tell you right now, guys, he looks the part. This young man is 6 foot, 220 pounds, and he is physical. He looks imposing. He looks ready to carry the ball 20 times right now. The physical big body back that is Omarion Hampton that's going to be paired with Najee Harris. And we've talked about it. Keith said he believes that Omarion Hampton is going to be the rookie of the year. I think that's going to be Ashton Jeanty if it's going to be a running back and not a quarterback, right? If it's not Cam Ward, if it's not Shador Sanders or Dylan Gabriel or whoever, right? We know Jackson Dart's not playing, or that he shouldn't be playing behind those two vets. I think if it's not a quarterback, if it's not Travis Hunter, if it's not Tedorora McMillan, it's got to be one of the running backs. I think it's Jeanty. Keith thinks it's Hampton. But nonetheless, when you look at what Hampton's going to be able to do, bring that downhill physical style of play to a Greg Roman heavy run-led offense. And for me, it's just a simple fact of, like, when you're watching him go through the bag drills, things like that, he's not going to move like Ashton Genty. He's bigger than Ashton Genty. Like, honestly, watching some of these clips, I was looking at Omarion Hampton like, are we sure he's not a linebacker? Because he looks like a linebacker through and through. He's that big, he's that powerful, he's that imposing physically. So you're talking about this is without pads. You see some running backs, they don't look like a powerful runner unless they have the pads on. This dude looks like he could play rugby and do it well. Okay, like that's the type of physique and frame he has. Big lower halves, big strong legs and thighs, and like his calf muscles look like an organ. Like, looks like a full-on organ. Like, this dude looks like he can literally carry the ball 30 times a game. I would be honest with you, if Omarion Hampton was drafted 20 years ago, he'd probably be a top 5 pick. Right? Him and Ashton Jeanty both would have been in conversation for the first overall pick back in the 90s, baby. Back in the 90s, okay? 25, 26 years ago in the late 90s, even early 2000s. And I'm going to tell you who he reminds me of a little bit. And this is going to be a throwback for some people. Jamal Lewis. I think this is a guy, big, like height, weight, speed. Like, he has all of that. And I think, for me, Omarion Hampton has good vision. He's patient. Things of that nature. He's just not going to be the most elusive runner, and that's okay, right? Like, when you look like Omarion Hampton, I'm not expecting you to have the foot quickness and hip fluidity and swivel of a RJ Harvey, who we'll talk about in the next topic, or Ashton Jeanty, or Bucky Irving. I don't expect that. I expect you to look like and run like a David Montgomery, look and run like a Jamal Lewis, where I want your shoulders like parallel to the line of scrimmage. I want you square to the line of scrimmage, and I want you downhill as quickly as we can, especially if I get some pin pull action, get 2 lead blockers at GH counter, or that tackle tight end counter, or GT, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. If I can get some counters going, get 2 lead blockers, and now he gets to pop through the first layer of the defense untouched, and now linebackers, corners, and safeties have to make some business decisions. This is not a guy that you want to have, like, thank God he didn't go to a cold weather team. Could you imagine him in, like, Cincy? And they're like, you know what? We're going to run the ball. It's 30 below, right? Like, you're in the playoffs, you're dealing with Buffalo, and you're like, it's cold. Here's our 225-pound running back. Deal with it. Right? Like here's that guy 25, 30 times a game. Like, you don't want that. You don't want to have to deal with that in the cold, man. So I just look at him. I think his role, me and Keith talked about it before. I don't think he's going to be the unquestioned starter right out the gate. I think they're going to split carries. Am I going to say it's a 50-50 split? Maybe early on, but I think he eventually takes the stranglehold over this rushing attack, and he becomes the guy. But at the same time, like, I don't think it's right out the gate. No, I don't think he's going to be the guy, the dude, just right out of the gate. Nor do I think he should be. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he should be that guy right away. So, yeah, I just I look at him and I say, man, for me, it's his role is definitely going to be RB1A, 1B. But when you look at his frame, this open field speed, he's a sneaky receiver too. Like, he's a sneaky receiver in terms of Omarion Hampton. And again, like, yes, Justin Herbert's there. They brought in RJ Harris, who I'm excited for. Quentin Johnson took a step forward last year. Ladd and McConkey is a wide receiver 1 for now. And they drafted Orlando Gadsden to maybe hopefully become the tight end 1 of this offense. We'll see. But if they don't have enough from the tight end position, I think it's okay. It's fine. Greg Roman's going to run the ball. He's going to run the ball. Again, Mahomes is in your division. Just talk about Ashton Jeanty. You know how you keep him off the field? How you keep Geno Smith off the field? Run the rock, man. Yes, you can. Yes, okay. For the analytics crew who love the passing attack, great. I hear you. Yes, complete those quick passes, that 2-3 yard hitch route, the spot concepts, the stick routes, things like the stick concepts and all that. You can do those things, right? But at some point, you got to run it. Okay, you got to run it. I'm sorry. At some point, you got to run the ball. And for me, Greg Roman is not going to abandon the run just to pass the ball 45 times a game. Typically, most quarterbacks in history, outside of, I think Tom Brady's the only one with a winning record when he's thrown the ball 40 to 45 plus times. He's one of the few guys that actually has a winning record. I think he has the most wins. So the sample size is not good for the no, let's throw it crowd. Like, you got to run the ball. You got to be physical, because all the throwing stuff is cool, right? All of it's cool until you get to the postseason. The play is ratcheted up. The play is more physical. All of it, man. And if you can't run the ball to set the tone and all that type of stuff, typically you lose. Yeah, if you can't run the ball and be physical, it's a grown man's game still. I know they've softened the game up a little bit, right? They smoothed some things out. But the game is still physical, okay? It's still a physical game. It's still a grown man's game. And Omarion Hampton is a grown man. Again, he looks the part, and I think he's going to have a big part in the success of the 2025 Los Angeles Chargers offense. But you're talking about it's crazy. I've stayed in the AFC West, and I didn't even mean to. It's just talking points. It's just talking points. But coming up next, we're going to close this thing out with RJ Harvey. RJ Harvey, second-round pick. I thought he was a little overdrafted. I still like his game. We're going to talk about his role with the Denver Broncos. Is he a 3-down back for Sean Payton? We're going to talk about that and more coming up next. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our everydayers. RJ Harvey, second-round pick for the Denver Broncos out of UCF, running back, talented running back. I think he's arguably the most elusive back in this class, or one of the top 3. This guy has jump cuts. He's patient. He's got vision. He's got that stout, kind of sawed-off, low center of gravity, bowling ball type of build and everything. And when you look at what he's going to be able to do, Sean Payton is excited about RJ Harvey. Sean Payton, I believe he said he talked about the fact that in a sense, right? I'm paraphrasing. He said something along the lines that maybe how do you call it? Pass protection is a little overrated, right? Now, RJ Harvey, 5'8", 205 pounds, ran a 4.4 with a 1.5 17-yard split. So he's not a very dynamic or explosive back. It's almost a 1.61. And I think for context, I believe Tyler Shuck had a 1.6 10-yard split. So that's just kind of just as some context. 1.5 17-yard split, but he ran a 4.4 flat, right? He does get kind of walked down or hawked down on tape from behind a little bit. And it's just because of his running style to me. He's a long strider at 5'8", and it's like it just takes a lot of energy to keep that stride length rolling, man. But he does it, right? And he can catch the ball in the backfield. Pass protection is the weakest part of his game. And, I tweeted this out even with the quote that they put out there out of Denver. If you think Spags is not going to show you some type of simulated pressure to make you slide protection in one direction and get one-on-one with a free runner on RJ Harvey that really test out your theory, you're crazy. Spags is one of the best in the game on the defense side of the ball for the Kansas City Chiefs as their coordinator. So when I look at RJ Harvey, I think his role is going to be, I think they're going to want him to be the 3-down back, right? I think Keith talked about like Pierre Thomas when Sean Payton was in New Orleans. I think I've seen people on social media compare him and call him this year's Bucky Irving. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Bucky, they're similar, but then different at the same time. I think for me, Bucky's contact balance for a guy his size was outstanding, right? So yeah, it's just, we'll see. And Bucky is an outstanding receiver, like really, really good receiver out of the backfield too. So yeah, I don't foresee him being Bucky Irving. But again, if he gets the 3-down snap share and he's solid in pass pro, he's functional. I think at the worst case scenario, you want to be functional. You just can't be a liability. But I think in the run game, like, it's going to help, and especially with helping Bo Nix, doing over at the Scouting Room, my YouTube channel. Also, go subscribe to the podcast, the Scouting Room NFL podcast with Dame and Dan with my guy Daniel Harms. We're talking, we're breaking down. Actually, I think for tomorrow's episode, we're breaking down Bo Nix and some of the stuff we saw on tape and how successful his rookie year went and different things like that. Put it into some context. And I think what they wanted to do is lighten the load on them, right? They couldn't really run the ball the way they wanted to. I think RJ Harvey will absolutely help their run game and everything. And I think as he should. He should be able to help their run game. This guy's quick. He's elusive. Again, he's slippery. But he does. I'll give him this. He's not the bell cow build, but he runs bigger than his frame, especially with a head of steam. Like he gets that running start, he'll lower his shoulder and run through arm tackles and try to run over a safety. And I love that about him, right? He has a big man running style with momentum. The thing for me is going to be, well, what happens when they clog the lanes? Because there's times on tape with RJ Harvey, you see him turn, like he wants to bounce runs outside. And I always think about this, like the last back we had that was so elusive that he could get, last two backs that were so elusive that they could get away with that, it was Saquon Barkley, and then to me it was Reggie Bush. Both of, like, Saquon Barkley's one of the best, if not arguably the best running back in the league, right? Led, no disrespect to Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley led that Philadelphia Eagles offense to the playoffs and to the Super Bowl. It was on his back that they got there. And you know what I mean? So the rest of the passing offense came secondary to what he was doing on the ground. But you look at Reggie Bush. It took time for him to adjust because you have linebackers and safeties who run 4.4s and 4.3s. You can't bounce and jump cut everything outside and run east and west, right? Like you're not gaining ground. And he does it from time to time. I'm talking about RJ Harvey, and that was one of the things that bothered me with his game a little bit. But nonetheless, I think he's a talented running back. And if Sean Payton, one of the best offensive minds in the league, felt that comfortable with him, I feel like they're going to have a role for him. They're going to get him the ball in multiple ways, try and create those advantages, run angles and run lanes and those paths for him to attack, so forth and so on. And just at the end of the day, I think it's just going to be that simple. It's going to be whether or not he's an actual 3-down back. The pass protection, same way Caleb Johnson, who talk about him in a later date. Caleb Johnson basically has been working on his pass protection. That was something he knew he had to, because he didn't pass protect a whole lot because they ran the ball at Iowa. They had no passing attack, right? So that's just what it was. It is what it is, and that's what it was for Iowa's offense, where RJ Harvey is just undersized. So, like, can you, like, and again, size doesn't always matter in that particular conversation, because we've seen shorter, stout backs be really good. Like Kyron Williams is one of the best pass protecting backs in all of the NFL, in all of football, right? And he's what, 5'8", 5'9", and he's not 220 pounds. Like, so again, there's definitely gonna be a role for him. And we'll see, man. We'll see. I'm interested to see how they utilize RJ Harvey, but talented player. He had a good week in Mobile, and things of that nature. I do think there were backs better than him, better than like with a better skill set and the ability to be a true 3-down back. But if Sean Payton, if his 3-down back, I don't think it doesn't sound like it's a traditional 3-down back. So if that's the case, hey, I'm trusting in Sean. We trust in Sean Payton. We trust. But guys, that's the show, breaking down some of the running backs. All seem to be from the AFC West, from rookie minicamp. RJ Harvey's role in the Denver Broncos offense. Omarion Hampton looks the part and looks like an NFL running back right now, right away. And then Ashton Jeanty will be the bell cow for the Las Vegas Raiders. And thank you so much for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our everydayers. Go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, to get the latest episode as soon as it is available. And then come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.